Okay.
And also for the thing, like what Nikki said about like the reading just one part, you can't read the whole entire book. It's like some people have different paces at reading. So that like if someone likes to read slower than others, then we like pick a right amount for every single person so that we can make sure we can read all of it.
And that can be a challenge sometimes, can't it? So for me, I'm actually in so teachers, by the way, I have not officially started the lesson yet. We're still just building comfort. So for me, I'm actually in an adult book club, and I'm the kind of reader who likes to reread. So some people might say, oh, Chris is a slow reader, you know, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a slow reader. I prefer to be a slow reader because it helps me think better. But I have friends who like to go through the book much faster. So for book club, one of our biggest conversations at every book club meeting is how much longer, how many days, how many weeks, how many months sometimes until we meet next. So that could be a challenge, kind of balancing reading paces and honoring where everybody is at. My whole book club has to wait for me because I like to reread. I like to reread chapters when I finish them just to make sure I got everything from them. So, okay, would anybody else like to tell me anything before we officially start? Yes, one more thing.
It's really pros and cons of book clubs. A pro is that it's really fun to reflect with your friends and Christina because it's like easier than just doing it yourself sometimes. But a con is I couldn't just say I want to keep going, and I'm not really used to reflecting a lot. Or like stopping and reflecting because I'm like, oh, I'm at an exciting part, I want to keep going. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, I should reflect, but I'm at another exciting part.
Yeah, and that's why reflecting is a skill you have to practice. It doesn't just come naturally. You actually have to stop and kind of be aware that you need to do it. And then it becomes easier the more you do it. Yes, Judy, last thing, last word.
One of the things I don't like about book club is because not everybody like not many people are set up is at the same place.
Yeah.
Like at the same pace. Because like we were like really really fast. But I feel like Christina tries to put us in groups that like we don't have someone who likes to read like really slow and someone who likes to read really fast.
So somebody who's paced with you pretty well? Okay. All right, so we're going to officially start the lesson now. Are you guys ready? Just take a quick stretch, 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, ready? Perk yourselves up because we are officially starting. Okay, so, readers. I heard so much about you from your book clubs. This is really going to help me with the lesson today. And one thing I heard was that you enjoy doing book clubs because you could talk with each other. Is that right? Yeah, and that's, you know, I love that about my book club. I love meeting with my book club, talking with my book club, because sometimes my friends in my book club notice things that I didn't even realize, or they think about a character in a completely different way than I did, and it actually makes the book itself much more interesting for me. So readers, today I want to teach you that when you're in book clubs, one way that you can make those discussions even higher is to really ask yourself what is worth talking about in the book, and then to try and build upon what each other says. Now those are 2 skills. Normally, when I talk to kids about reading, I just like to give them one thing to think about. Today I'm giving you 2 things, okay? So again, I'm gonna repeat. You ready? So when you're reading and ready to have a discussion, you ask yourself, what is worth talking about? And then you try to build upon what each other is saying, okay? So I want you to watch me as I do this with all of you. We're gonna pretend we're one big book club right now. Are you ready to do that? Okay, so remember, while we're reading this text, we're gonna read it all together in a sec. You're going to say, what is worth talking about? What are you gonna ask?
What's worth talking about?
What is worth talking about? Because not everything is worth talking about. All right, so we're going to take a look at this book. Every Living Thing, Stories by Cynthia Ryland. It's a collection of short stories. So, and I picked a story. The story spoke to me, so I picked it. The story is called, oh, you know it? Oh, you like cats. Story is called A Bad Road for Cats. So remember, readers, while you're reading, and you're going to be doing this in your own books too with your club, you're going to be asking, what is worth talking about? Okay, so watch me as I try to figure that out. Okay. Louie, where are you? The woman called it out again and again as she walked along Route 6.
It says Louis in
I know, but don't correct me while I'm reading. That doesn't make me feel good. She walked along Route 6, a bad road for cats. She prayed he hadn't wandered this far. It had been nearly 2 weeks, and still Louis hadn't come home. She stopped at a Shell station, striding up to the young man at the register. Her eyes snapped black and fiery as she spit the question at him. Have you seen a cat? The word came out hard as a rock. Oh, that's interesting. Have you seen a cat? The word came out hard as a rock. Okay, so now I'm thinking in my head, what is worth talking about there? Let's see, what is worth talking about? Okay, so based on what I've read so far, notice how I'm kind of referring to my chart over here? We're gonna talk about that a little bit later too. So based on what I've read so far, this poor lady lost her cat. And she just seems desperate to try and find him. Okay. Do you agree or disagree with me? Would anybody like to add on to my discussion? My discussion starter of that? Yes.
Maybe she didn't lose Louis or Louis. Maybe she's trying to find it for someone.
So you disagree, which is okay in a book club.
Well, I agree and I disagree. I'm like, maybe something else.
Tell me more about that.
So like, maybe she could have lost Louis, which is the thing that probably happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, like, she's trying to find Louis because someone lost Louis and there's a reward or something. Because I know, like, when I see a sign at the park that says lost dog, I found a lost dog.
Okay. So, I'm looking back at my chart now because I want to add on to what you're saying. I don't want to just go on to my next topic. So, to add on to what, Anna said, maybe my thinking wasn't right. Maybe Louie's not her cat. Maybe she's trying to find somebody else's cat for a different reason.
It seems like it is her cat because she seems to love it like a lot and be really desperate to find it. Like if you just saw a lost cat sign, I don't think you would be this desperate to find a cat that you didn't even know.
Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop this right now. Did you notice how we just kind of went back and forth a few times talking about this little part of text? Did you notice how we did that? So is this worth talking about? Yeah, kind of the basis for the whole story. Okay, so let's continue on a little bit, and then I'm going to have you try this work in your book club, okay? So remember, we're asking what is worth talking about? What is worth actually having a discussion? Okay. I'm gonna back up. Okay. Have you seen a cat? The word cat came out as hard as a rock. The young man straightened up. No, ma'am. No cats around here. Somebody dropped a mud off a couple nights ago, but a Mack truck got it yesterday about noon. Dog didn't have a chance. The woman's eyes pinched his. I lost my cat, orange and white. If you see him, you be more careful of him than that dog. This is a bad road for cats. Okay, I'm gonna stop real quick. So, one thing I think worth talking about, and you might think something different, and that's okay if you do, Well, one thing I think is worth talking about is the author's use of repetition. You might think something different though, but I noticed that the author said this is a bad road for cats here on this page, and that, did you guys notice? The title is This is a Bad Road for Cats. And then, so she keeps repeating that one phrase.
Why is it bad for the cat?
Would anybody like to add on or continue that thought?
Dog nappers.
What do you think? Do you want to add something? What would you like to say?
I think now it's become apparent that it's her cat.
Okay, so we think now it's become apparent that it's her cat.
Yeah, and also I think this is probably kind of like street that's really busy when it's cars and trucks.
So do you think maybe that's why it's the title? Okay.
But it doesn't say a bad road for dogs. It says a bad road.
I wonder if there's something to that.
Should be a bad road for maybe there's a dog park on the phone.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right now. Did you all see what we just did? We all just had a wonderful conversation. We all just added on to what each other was saying. Did you see that? We all were talking about the same thing instead of waiting to talk about what we wanted to talk about. So we did this doing two things. First, we asked, what is worth talking about? And then we kind of thought, okay, how can I talk with my group to add on to what they're saying? Okay? So right now it's your turn to try in your book club. Here's how you're gonna do this. And this is just a practice. And then you're gonna go off and do it on your own in your reading areas, whether it's at your desk or the couch, wherever your book club group goes, okay? So here's how we're gonna do it. You're gonna turn to your group, and all of you are just going to pick one page. You're just gonna agree on one page to read right now in your group. So you're gonna take about 1 minute to read that page independently. Just read it independently. And then after 1 minute, somebody is gonna start the discussion. What is worth talking about? And then the rest of you are gonna try and build on that. Do we understand what we're going to do? All right, turn in your book clubs right here at the rug. Stay here and try that now.
Let's read.